There once was a man named Gold Roger who was king of the pirates. He had fame, power, and wealth beyond your wildest dreams. Before they hung him from the gallows, these were the final words he said.
Our perspective is yours for the taking, but you'll have to join us first. We left everything we debated at the Yonkō Table.
Ever since, pirates from all over the world set sail for the Grand Line, searching for the Yonkō Table, the table that will make their dreams come true.
Yo, everyone. That is the voice of your Yonkō host, DrJaceAttorney. And the Yonkō Table has come back yet again, setting sail for the Grand Line on our next episode of One Piece Chronicles. It's been a long time coming. A lot of people have been waiting for this one. And this week, we will be tackling Water 7. Now, mind you, it won't be the entirety of Water 7 because Water 7 is a hefty arc in the realm of One Piece. So we'll be splitting Water 7 into 3 separate episodes. As to what the last 2 episodes will be separated into, we're still in the discussion phase of that. But what we will cover in this week's episode, we will cover everything from the beginning of the arrival at Water 7, the island, all the way up to Rocket Man when they sail off into the sea on the rocket the rocket train ship as it goes into the ocean. Makes no sense. But to help me deep dive this week's episode of the Yonkō Table is fellow Yonkō GrandMasterHoop. Grandmaster, are you a Franky stan?
I am a Franky stan because there's a lot going on at Water 7, the saga in general, and Franky's introduction and his relevance to the overall saga was done quite well. For what may seem to be like an overloaded saga, it actually meshes pretty all well together. So, and as far as the emotional beats go, this one was definitely up there with some of the top tier One Piece emotional rides. So yeah, ready to get into this.
Ready as well. So we also have fellow Admirals and Supernovas here to join us today. And all right, let's get into it. Water 7. I guess I just want to feel out the room a little bit. There's a lot of people in the One Piece fandom that consider Water 7, and I mean the entirety of Water 7, all the way from the island to Enies Lobby, the whole saga. A lot of people consider this one of, if not the best arc in One Piece. What does some of y'all feel about that? Is it up there? Like, I don't think I've ever heard anything negative about Water 7, but I don't know. Any negative naysayers or positives for
hands
Water
down,
7?
number one, hands down.
Number one for you?
Number one saga.
Top 3.
Kame Chris, not number 1?
It's top 3. It's top 3. Yeah, it's easy top 3.
Yeah,
Interesting.
It's up there.
You too?
Yes. I mean, yeah, no doubt.
Wait. Let me just can I ask what's the best art?
Oh,
I don't know. I haven't really done a ranking recently.
Unbelievable.
The last time I did a ranking was probably like during Dressrosa, so I need to reevaluate because upon rewatching a lot of these, like I rewatched this whole thing, it's a doozy, but this one just does it really well as far as kind of the overarching, and it's really 3 arcs in total that make up the whole Water 7 saga. It just does it very well, and compared to what we've been given already timeline wise, it's probably number 1 by the time you finish it. It's probably number 1.
Yeah, I rank everything. Water 7 definitely is the number 1 saga. And then I think if I'm ranking arcs, I think I go Enies Lobby number 1, Arlong 2, and then Water 7 3.
Arlong.
These are
Water 7 3. So not only is it like the number 1 saga, but it has 2 of the 3 best arcs, in my humble opinion.
No Davy back as number 1? Are you kidding me?
Close. It fell right outside the top 3.
I see. Okay. It barely made the cut.
These are some strong these are some strong feelings.
Well, Nino, you recently watched not too long ago.
It's almost been a year
Has it really been a year since you caught up?
Yeah, since I caught up. It's almost been a year since I started.
Crazy.
So,
That's insane. I feel like
And
it
now
was
we're
last
here.
week or something.
But what do you call it? I think for this arc, I think I have to give it a, obligatory super. This arc is definitely a super arc, and I think it's top 3. The saga, I think Water 7 is better than Enies Lobby.
Okay.
I agree.
I feel like Enies Lobby is gonna, and we'll get to that. I feel like once a lot of more things that are explained looking back, because there's a lot of things from Enies Lobby that still aren't explained to this day. I feel like it'll finally surpass it. But Water 7, like what we're getting into today, is just great. But I also feel like Marineford is top tier.
A lot of people default to Marineford as the
I'm
best
really
arc in
looking
One
forward.
Piece.
I'm really looking forward to our conversation about Enies Lobby because it's a Water 7, and obviously we'll talk about this today. I think it's pound for pound, like probably the strongest arc. But I think Enies Lobby's highs are just some of like the best highs in all of One Piece.
I actually agree.
Top tier. Enies
enough.
Lobby's gotta be. That's why I say Water 7. It's a little weird, but no, Enies Lobby is definitely probably number 1, if not number 2. Like really fighting for number 1. But yeah,
Enies Lobby is only as good as the excellent setup that was Water 7.
You can't have a great Enies Lobby without a Water 7.
And I feel like, and we're gonna get into it, but the writing I feel like is a lot better in Water 7 than it is in Enies Lobby.
Well, I think Enies Lobby is kind of
today.
just like HooperTV said, the culmination.
Yeah.
So it's
Right.
like the resolution almost. So, but it does have highs, and it is all because of the cause and effect here with Water 7. So.
Right, exactly. And I mean, it picks up right where we left off from last week. We picked up off from a very, very, very solid arc, despite what GrandMasterHoop may say.
I didn't say anything about it.
The Davy back fight is by far one of the most hilarious arcs in One Piece. And it was a soft introduction to Water 7 because it ended off with Aokiji basically giving the Straw Hats a warning, telling them, hey, that girl Nico Robin, you might want to keep an eye on her. I don't know. She might cause some trouble later on. And he was basically a prophet because off to the next island they go, and they enter the city of Water 7, the island of water, the city of water.
I think it's the city of water. Yeah,
the city of water, and it's very inspired by Venice architecture from Italy.
Yes.
It looks really nice. I like this area. Did you guys pick up on that on your initial read, or like kind of like on the rewatch?
I think, well, upon rewatching, I definitely noticed the Venetian. Having just visited Venice with my siblings, it's very, you can tell the interconnectivity of the canals. Even the part where they're talking about the city is sinking. That's a true thing. Venice is technically sinking. So I like that Oda does real world tie-ins and parallels and inspirations. This one was a really well thought out one with the levels of the water and whatnot.
Yeah, and I think I was just gonna say that I think it's obviously being pulled from Venice, but it really feels like, I think this is hands down one of my favorite settings. I think not only is it like cool, creative, has that familiarity of like a Venice, but I think the art, at least in the manga, and I don't know if the anime watchers feel the same, like I think this is some of Oda's best artwork in terms of like the setting and kind of like the world and the landscapes. Like as soon as you arrive, I think it's like a full page spread. You're like, shit, this looks beautiful. And I think he goes all out like throughout this entire arc of like, just like in terms of like the background art, just constantly just showing you like, you're in this really cool area, this really cool city. And I'm really impressed by his art in this chunk of One Piece.
No, I definitely agree. He really showcased his art in this arc in terms of like just everything involving how Water 7 is designed, the architecture, even the shipwright company, Galley Law. You know, the way like Oda does his research, like because you know when you first get into One Piece, it's like okay, he has a basic understanding of like what a ship is. A ship needs a sail to go on the ocean. But like this man does a lot of research into the science behind shipbuilding, because they come to this island because the Straw Hats want a new ship, or rather not a new ship. They want their old ship, the Merry-Go, to be repaired, and they're gonna use the gold that they got from Skypiea to exchange at the currency exchange shop, and then they're gonna pay for repairs. And it's just nice to see all these shipwright characters and see the city surrounding them. You get the what are they called? The Yagara bulls, the Yagara bulls.
Yes.
They're basically the boats of the city.
Yeah, they're what are they? Gondolas. They're gondolas.
Gondolas. Yeah. I just think they're funny. They're funny little sea creatures that they use. They always have a smirk on their face, and it's like I'm sure if you punch them, they'll still have a smirk on their face. I just like how Oda adds his own little flair to it. It's not copy and paste. Yeah, this is Venice, Italy. No, this is Water 7, and here are the bulls that we use to get around.
Well, he makes his settings a character. You got the bulls, mode of transportation. Right. You got the canals and the waterways that makes the city unique, and then it's characterized because it's known for its shipwrights. It's known for its shipbuilding. So
it's a giant fountain.
It is.
Just
it
one
is.
Big fountain.
They really took that water theme.
Just one big water fountain.
So great.
It's hilarious. I mean, it's great. I think this is one of Oda's best islands. Oda has a lot of islands that he's had from East Blue to Grand Line to New World. I think this is in the top tier of like one of his best designed islands. So when the Straw Hats get here, they kind of split off as they usually do. Whenever they reach a new area, what is it? Luffy, Nami, Usopp, right? They go to the exchange shop
Get them with the money.
They're going to go cash in the money.
And I think that's where they learned that they have 300 million buried.
Yes.
Well, first they almost got swindled out of the out of the currency guy. What was he going to give them? 100 at first?
100 million, yeah. And then Usopp and Luffy are like, ooh, yes, let's go.
Nami doesn't take that.
Right.
No, I mean that was funny. I definitely like that. So
I don't even think Nami knows how much it's worth. She just tries to like.
I think she was squeezing it out of him.
Yeah.
No, she knew it was more than 100 million though, because
did she?
Yes, she did. Because if you go back and watch, that's why he caved so much, because he knew he was swindling them too. He lowballed. He purposely lowballed, thinking they'd become enough. But then,
he was sweating once Nami said, stop pulling our leg.
Right.
I think Nami's never going to take the first offer, though. I think she was always going to push back on the first offer.
Probably, but she knew that was too low. She already deduced that.
Even if that was the right price, she was going to scam her way through it anyway.
If he offered 300 million, she was going to say, "Excuse me."
That means probably more.
She knows the worst. She's not dumb. She's the cat burglar. She
Thank
knows.
God she was there.
Right. Exactly.
So that's their objective with Usopp, Nami, and Luffy, and then Zoro stays on the ship to sleep because Zoro loves his sleep. That's all he does. What's Sanji do? He goes off to get ingredients.
Yeah, he goes to go shopping for food. Yeah, stock up.
Normal. Like they're all doing their things that they're good at.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
They have the money for it.
The normal crew split up.
Exactly. And I think it was not Nami, Robin and Chopper. They did their own thing with books.
Yeah, they were going to go. Well, they were going to go to a bookstore.
They were. And then what what happens? A mysterious figure, just
a masked man.
A masked man. What they, honestly, reading it was kind of hilarious because Robin's all smiles and Chopper's like, "Oh, Robin, let's go to this bookstore," and you just see this guy walk by and he's like, "CP9." She just loses it. She's like,
"Is that how you read it? You said it that quick, CP9."
He didn't say just CP9. He said something like, "CP9 is here," whatever. But like.
No, in the anime, I think he just says CP9.
Yeah, that's it.
That's all they say.
That's all he says.
Oh, that's even funnier. But
he doesn't say it quick like you. He's like CP9.
Oh, he drags it. Wow. Okay, because I'm pretty sure in the manga he said something. I don't remember what.
I have the manga open. He says, "I'm with CP9."
No. It was a sentence.
They dramatize it so much.
Yeah, it was like they walked by and it was that moment of
slow down.
Yeah, it goes slow mo. It goes slow mo. And it goes all white. Like it fades out the background, and it's just them two.
So, go ahead.
Oh no, that's it. Yeah.
No, I was gonna say, so it's presented to you in slow motion, but I guess when you look at it in like real time, the guy is just walking by saying CP9, and she's like, "Holy crap! Oh my god, who said that?" So what? I mean, that's pretty much the part where Robin just dips, right?
She dips. She leaves Chopper.
She's out of there.
She knows what's coming after her.
She felt like guilty. Like because she knew exactly what all that entailed, and she knew she was putting everybody in danger.
Well, as a reader, we don't know anything. She just dips.
Right.
Yeah, that's the first time we hear about CP9. Like we never heard that phrase.
Oh, that's right.
We never heard about it, and also, Robin, after recovering from Aokiji's, assault with the ice powers, she's actually like kind of back to her normal self a little bit. She's like smiling with the crew.
Yeah, she was
talking.
fine.
Yeah, she wasn't like.
You guys think so?
A little.
I think she was
fine.
I think she's putting on a mask. She comes out and says she's fine, but it kind of like, at least the way I interpret it was that she's trying to put on a brave face. I think she was like internally kind of going through it though.
I mean, like I feel like it did bother her, but
yeah.
I don't think she had any thought of like leaving the crew yet at that point. Once she heard CP9, she was like, "I'm out. I gotta get out."
The thing is that I think the point was like thematically and like for Robin's character arc, Aokiji proved that there were threats in this world that the crew could not protect. Like she could not protect the crew from, and the crew could not protect her from.
Right.
And she had to realize, like, then when she's faced with the decision with CP9, she's like, I have no other choice. If not, I've already seen what the world government can do, with people they don't like. And, so.
But yeah, I think too, because when you really think about it, Aokiji, she had not seen him in 20 years.
That's 2 decades.
And she's kind of, made a living for herself, and she was fine. But all the while she was alone, and then she meets the Straw Hats, and now she actually holds something of value to her, So then, they miraculously escape Aokiji, and then she's like, okay, that was a once in a chance run-in. We're good.
What are the odds?
What are the odds? I'm gonna put on this brave face. I'm gonna go get a book with the doctor. We're gonna go back and fix our ship, then CP9.
Even then,
CP9.
and then it's a wave. It's a perspective. Like she can't escape this.
But she hasn't fully bought into the Straw Hats yet, because she's still calling everyone doctor or.
She's so close. She's so close.
Yeah. But you're giving me that look, HooperTV. But
hold on. My look was and I almost don't want you to tell me. My look is, I'm curious if like she changes after that. Now I can't even remember.
Does she not? Does she stop calling them by titles after that?
No. Hey. Let's save that.
Oh, you're right. Okay.
I will say this.
You're right.
She only says Luffy by name. That is the only one she says by name.
Up to this point.
Up to this
this
point.
point.
Maybe maybe my mind will change once we get after
Navigator,
this
swordsman, cook,
arc.
doctor.
I honestly just thought it was like her
Is it
proper
a
way
long
of
nose?
like
It's long
speaking to
nose,
them.
right?
Long
Long nose. Wait, that's oh my god, that's so interesting that everyone has like a designated thing, and then Usopp gets long nose. We'll
he's
get back to that.
well, okay.
We'll
I
get
know where
the-
you're going with this.
Actually, she kind of
Wait,
what?
what?
I mean,
because
he
no.
kept up with this. I mean, she calls Chopper like not Dr. Chopper, but she like today she still calls him like just the way she says it is very formal. Chopper. She says everybody's name kind of still formally.
Like yeah,
Yes,
kind of like by their titles a
They're-
little
they're-
bit.
when
But-
we get to
we'll
later
get
on in this
there.
arc.
Yeah, we'll
We'll
get
get
there.
there. We'll get there.
So she's
We'll
gone.
promise.
She's gone.
She gone. She
Chopper's
did-
like, where'd
disappears.
Robin go? Where'd
And
she
I think
go?
this establishes
mad at me?
one of I was gonna say I think this establishes one of the coolest parts of Water 7 that I don't think Oda's done up to this point is like this sense of mystery. You know, it's like this CP9 person's wearing a mask. They only say CP9, and it's like who's CP9? Who's this mask wearer? And I think this ties in to probably the next part where it's like you're kind of wondering who is the bad guy of this arc? Who is these mask wielders? And what they do is they throw 10 characters at you immediately. And I think it's so smart because you're immediately like, I don't know. You have no idea who could have been behind that mask or anything.
Yeah.
Right. That's the whole mystery because what? Well, first the Straw Hats they get introduced to the mayor of Water 7, Iceberg.
Iceberg. His assistant.
His assistant, Khalifa.
Khalifa,
Okay.
yeah.
Khalifa. And Khalifa's an interesting character, and along with a bunch of the other shipwrights, because what we get
Paulie.
Paulie,
You get
we
Paulie.
We get
Lucci.
Lucci.
You get Paulie, you get Kaku, you get the guy with the thing.
Oh my
you get
God,
There's Tilestone.
Tilestone's the buff guy.
Yeah, Tilestone's the guy who screams all the time. and they're like,
Tilestone, yeah.
shut up, you're too loud. There's
then you
the
get
guy
this
with the
weird-
sunglasses too.
You get the weird ventriloquist guy.
Lucci, yeah, you meet Lucci.
Yeah, you get this guy named Lucci who's like a weird ventriloquist who's like talking through his bird.
Through
His pit-
Hattori the pigeon.
Hattori the pigeon.
Talking through a pigeon.
I also love how Luffy's first instinct was, I want to fight that guy. I don't
He
like
calls
that
him
guy.
the pigeon guy.
He calls him
Yeah.
pigeon guy. Actually, I think his first instinct, he doesn't like the pigeon first.
Yes.
Because the
you're
pigeon, yeah, the pigeon's making fun of him, I think.
Yeah,
Right?
something like that. But yeah, they go to Iceberg because we forgot to mention the sea train. They meet Granny Kokoro,
Oh,
and she
right.
gives them the letter of recommendation to go see Iceberg. She's like, Iceberg and I are drinking buddies. So
Right. And that's the
Yeah.
first time they see the sea train, which is basically a train that traverses
on the
the
sea.
ocean.
And I think
Also,
we're forgetting
Makes
another.
no sense.
I think we're forgetting another thing that is on the train tracks, and it can
The
also
frog.
be pretty big.
Oh.
The fucking frog.
was he on the train tracks in the beginning? I know.
Yoko,
Yeah.
Doing the
Yokozuna?
backflip.
Yokozuna, yeah.
Yeah. Yokozuna was.
Flies
He was
off.
on it.
I just know he gets hit. on
Well,
the
I
train.
know in the beginning they see the train and then they're like, Zoro sees a frog and is like, there's a frog doing the front stroke. And they're
Oh,
like,
right.
they're like, you're crazy.
Oh,
And
they
then-
called him a liar. They didn't believe
Yeah, they
it.
called him a liar.
That's where you draw the line. We've seen so many things on this adventure, but you don't believe me on a frog doing the front stroke?
Right.
But didn't they say that in Long Ring Long Land as well? Like that was a callback from the arc right before, but the people that they were saving right before right when they met Aokiji, they were like, we saw a frog doing the front stroke, and then they were like,
Oh,
crazy.
yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
they did. Oh,
See,
okay.
this is that filler bit I was telling y'all about.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Mm.
So yeah,
Interesting.
yes, they got the letter recommendation. There's this frog who tries to fight the sea train.
It's bodied multiple
right.
times.
But he lives. He's
lives.
getting stronger every time.
Very
Back to
true.
Iceberg.
Back to Iceberg. I mean,
Iceberg, all of Galley Law Company. I mean, we keep talking about like Kokoro and the frog. Like, they just give you so many good characters in this arc.
they did.
right
Like,
off the bat.
there's a lot of solid side characters in this arc. Like, there wasn't a single person where I was like, oh my god, this guy again? Really?
Yeah.
You have to cover this character? I loved all the characters, whatever role that they might have served. Maybe the granddaughter was like the only annoying one. Chimney with the bunny that thought it was a cat.
No, it is a cat, but she calls it.
No, it's a rabbit.
It looks like a rabbit, but she calls it a cat.
No, I thought it was the other way around. It's
no.
It's a rabbit that thinks it's a cat.
No, she calls it a cat, and it's clearly a rabbit.
No way.
Yes, because she goes. This is my granddaughter
I'm
Chimney
back checking.
and her cat Gombe.
I'm on it.
Yes, that's the joke. That is the joke.
I thought the joke because the cat says meow meow, and it's like that's silly because it's not really a cat, it's a rabbit.
She calls it a cat, and it's clearly designed as a rabbit.
They treat it like a cat.
It says Gombe, who Chimney thinks is a cat.
See,
Gombe is Chimney's
it's a
pet
rabbit.
cat.
Yes, that's what I just said.
No. Although he is actually a rabbit.
Thank you.
What do you mean? That proved my point. She calls it a cat.
That's what I've been saying.
No, you haven't.
You're lost, Grandmaster. Just stop.
Okay.
Just stop. Anyways, they're like the only two.
If she's the worst, if she's like the lowest character, she's still pretty good.
She's not fine.
There's no bad. The only bad character is on the C train. But we'll get there later.
Oh, good. Okay, you know what? No, I take it back. Yeah, there is a bad character. But that's a little bit ahead. So
right now we get to see Kaku in action.
We get to see Kaku in
cool.
action.
Yes. And let me tell you something. Everyone still tells me that I'm crazy. When
you are crazy.
You are crazy a little.
I know what you're about to say. Go ahead.
Because Luffy went into this arc saying we need a carpenter to join our crew. And then if you look at these manga, when I first watched it, I was like, oh, Kaku's the most obvious person to me, like that's going to join the crew. And when you look at him, and I can't even see these pages because I have it blurred, but there's like a 4-page like dedication at the end of chapter 325. And then he's jumping off the roof and he's like, and then they have full page dedicated to him. They call him Mountain Wind. He's the Galila Dock 1 our carpentry foreman, Kaku. And they're showing how great he is. I'm sorry. That's like clear indication that Oda was like, ooh, look at this nice little person.
You cannot have 2 long-nosed members on a crew.
Okay.
Oh, that's the line you're drawing? Because they have long noses?
We're talking about a little bit.
I was gonna say that actually that they both can't have long noses. I was gonna say you can't have 2 people that look so similar.
Even the crewmates think they look similar.
To Nino's point about Kaku possibly being a crew member, we were talking a little bit about this off mic, just like this arc, and Oda's done it in the past. Like I feel like sometimes he likes to play with the expectations of who's gonna join the crew. Right. You arrive at this place with like the intentions, like Oda makes it clear, we're not leaving without a carpenter. And then he throws like, 7 potential carpenters at you. You all get to see their face, they'll all have like unique quirks. I think, and like, I wasn't around when this was coming out live, but I feel like I remember Paulie kind of being up there for potential crew members.
I could see him.
Like cool. He has like his rope powers, and it's just like Oda's really playing where like I could have seen it, why not Kaku? I mean, the nose things probably does clash, but he's definitely playing with expectations because you haven't even met who's actually going to join the crew at this point in the story,
I feel like they set that up. I think that was, I don't know, maybe it's me, but I felt like that was the expectation when we all saw all like all the carpenters. It all felt like we were waiting to see, okay, town full of carpenters, but where's the guy that is going to join the crew? Because obviously none of these guys are going to join the crew, because if they were, they would have made it a point for one of them to like be the highlight, which they definitely, like Franky's introduction was just as like over the top as it's gonna get. So it's like, we
don't get Franky's introduction. There's so many things that happens until you actually really get introduced to him. Like,
I know, but like as far as just everyone like thinking that that one's gonna be like, everyone thinking that these carpenters were going to join the crew. I never had any expectation for any of them joining the crew. I was just like, we're waiting for there's one person. There's somebody that's going to be joining this crew. I don't know who, but he's got to come. And then when he does arrive, he's obviously the star. It's like,
but
yeah.
It's like there's two things that happen. They purposely throw you all these characters for, you're like, who's going to be the new crew member? But then it has another part to play later on a little bit in the early beginnings of Water 7 to where you're like, what the fuck, No,
it does. And
it's good. It's great setup. That's what I'm talking about. It's great setup.
The reason why Kaku could never be part of the crew is because Oda compared their noses side by side because a fan asked him who has the longer nose, and he put them side by side, and he's like, well, because Usopp's nose is rounded at the end, it's just half an inch bigger, so Usopp has a longer nose than Kaku. Kaku could never be a ship member. I'm sorry. He was excommunicated at that point. But we get introduced to all these shipwrights. All of them seem really cool. All of them are powerful as all hell. Because the whole gimmick with the shipwrights, they're fighting shipwrights because they provide services for both the world government and for pirates. And so, they don't discriminate against anyone that's willing to pay for their services, but if you mess with them, they're gonna put up a fight. And so I think we even get that a little bit. There's like some random no-name pirate that was like, oh, thanks for the repairs, buddy. We're not gonna pay a dime. And they proceed to kick his ass.
They beat the crap out of them, right?
Yeah, that was literally almost before they went to go get the money. Well, it was like early in the arc.
Yeah, right. No one had met them yet. They're just showing us the Galley Law Company and what they do.
Exactly. Right. Oda even dedicates to a full panel to just showing them standing side by side together. I'm like, okay, these are badasses. All right.
I thought they were when they showed that. I remember that panel with just that panel. I was like, okay, this is a fam. These guys are tight. These guys are not interchangeable. Tight. Yeah, there's no way. But I'm also what the hell do they have to what are they going to do? Are they just going to fix the ship? That's it. And what goes on from here? But that's with the mystery that begins with Water 7.
This is
where this was the peak of you're getting your interest of all right, so what the fuck is these guys going to actually start doing? And how strong are they really? And when Luffy starts saying, oh, I want to fight him, it's okay, why? Always something.
No, I mean, it's true because from here, this is where you start getting a domino effect of all the subsequent events that happen after this, because they show up, Luffy, Nami, and Usopp, with the money that they have. And by the way, we didn't really mention them too much, but the Franky family, they're kind of off in the background.
They're spying on them the whole time because they see them. They have
because they first attack Zoro, right?
They do attack Zoro, and Zoro beats the crap out of all of them.
Yeah, they get wrecked by Zoro.
Yes, and then there's a couple of them who are spying on Luffy, Nami, and Usopp because they see they have the money, the suitcase of money.
Exactly. It's a couple things are happening at once.
Yeah, it's happening simultaneously.
Kaku's going to check on the ship and do an evaluation.
Yes.
And while he's doing that, does Usopp see one of the a couple of the Franky family run off with the money?
So he sees them run off with two of the cases.
They only retain one suitcase. Yeah. They only retain 100 million. And Paulie stops the guy they stops the guy and they get back 100 million. But the other Franky family member makes it off with 200 mil. And
what's important here is that Usopp is gone when Kaku returns with the evaluation.
Right.
Well, I think Kaku first gives his evaluation to Zoro first.
Yes. Yeah.
And then I don't remember if Kaku actually went back to Luffy where he was, or if Luffy got the evaluation from Zoro. I can't remember, to be honest.
He gets it from the shipwrights.
He got it from
the shipwrights.
Okay.
And Luffy's heated And it's like this is like I don't know. It's like such a crucial part of this story is that Luffy's destroyed by hearing you can't sail on the merry-go. He hates hearing this. He's so mad. He expresses his anger.
Not even that they can't sail. It will not make it to the next island.
Yeah. Luffy's devastated by it, and it's most important that Usopp's not there.
Usopp is not there. Usopp goes
because he doesn't see that. He does not.
He doesn't see Luffy's reaction.
Yes, he doesn't see Luffy's reaction. That's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he doesn't see Luffy's initial distraught.
Yeah.
His anger.
Because he doesn't even acknowledge it at first either. Because he even tells Iceberg and Kaku, he's like, you guys are lying. Like, there's no way that you're telling me that this ship that has been with us from the East Blue all the way up to this point in this ship went into the sky, and you're telling me now it just happens to crumble away. It won't sail to the next island. But you guys are ridiculous.
That's the reality of it, is that they talk about all the adventures it's been on the merry-go, and it's like it makes sense that she's beaten. It's
the foundation. He said. I remember.
Is it the stern?
It was
no, not the stern. It's the one on the bottom.
The very bottom. Yeah, that was completely fucked. So you were like, you can't do anything.
The keel.
The keel. There we go.
Right. That's keel was, and I think the keel most got damaged from the knockup stream.
Yeah.
It had to.
And coming down.
And going up. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And yeah. So.
And they basically said what? Like, that's the part of the ship that when it's damaged, it's like.
And then I think
do anything.
I think the most damning thing up to this point in this arc is when Luffy's throwing a fit, because he's like, you can't do this. Like, you can't. Our ship is the merry-go. You can't. I won't believe you. You don't know what the ship is. I'll find someone to do it. And then Iceberg says, so you're willing to sail her until she sinks? I'm amazed. And you call yourself the ship's captain?
Ooh,
and it's just like,
I love it.
It does feel like that moment registers with Luffy. It does feel like that moment really hits. Yeah. He
doesn't say he doesn't say anything. He's just very mad the next panel, and Iceberg just keeps talking. He's like, you think over it. I'm not going to keep explaining myself.
When it really comes down to it, this is kind of Luffy's first really big captain decision that doesn't involve, let's go rescue this person or let's go help out these people. This is kind of just
it's a leader role.
It's a leader role.
You have to make
big
that
boy
decision.
decisions.
Right. And this is kind of what I was alluding to last week during the Foxy Pirates, GrandMasterHoop's favorite arc, was basically you got little hints at what the roles were going to be for the Straw Hats in terms of outside of what their actual, like Zoro's the swordsman, Nami's the navigator. But when you see Zoro telling Chopper in Foxy Pirates to stop crying and, suck it up, Buttercup, because you made the choice to come out to sea on your own. That's your decision, no one else's. I feel like at that point, it's like, okay, Zoro's kind of like the stern father of the group. Right here in Water 7.
I would not use that terminology. He's
the muscle, the enforcer.
Yeah, he's the enforcer.
He's
I think that's perfect. Yeah, is it well with directions? Kind of.
Yeah.
We're talking about Zoro. We're talking about Zoro.
Zoro, right.
Yeah, he's second in command. He's got to take everything that the captain doesn't see and he has to relay it to him and put it in perspective.
But these weren't ever clearly defined until I think now is when they're
coming out.
On it.
They are definitely coming out.
This is what I'm saying. Like Luffy, like what Grandmaster was saying, he's having his role as the captain put into question. Like he has to make the big boy decision. Later on in the arc, we also get another Zoro moment that again solidifies what his role in the crew is, besides being just a swordsman.
What in Luffy, this might not be related, but I know Nino was saying that Iceberg really gets to Luffy when he's talking about like making decisions as a captain and like protecting the crew. And it's funny because you don't see Luffy's decision until like this other moment happens where they like find Usopp just destroyed, just absolutely wrecked on the ground.
I wonder what they did to him, man, because his nose is broken.
They beat the crap out of him.
He's literally on the floor, like in the Family Guy style. Like his legs.
Beat the crap out of him.
But this happens like twice because like
it's excessive.
He's on the street the first time because they first take him away, beat him up, and steal 2 million or 200 million.
Right.
And if you can. You can't see it, but this is terrible. I'm looking at it and blood is
it's rough.
They did the absolute most. They already outnumbered him. They already deemed him weak, like one of the weaker members of the Straw Hats.
Right.
And Nami finds him. Nami's the one who finds him there.
That's true. So Nami finds him first, and Usopp,
that's important.
It is
important.
Usopp's destroyed and he feels really bad. He feels like he can't face the others because he lost. Not only did he lose the money, he lost that the chance at rebuilding the merry-go.
Right.
Because he does not know the information on the ship is unrepairable.
And so he goes again against the Franky family. He challenges them again and then gets wrecked. Even more wrecked. And then the crew finds him. And this ties into like an overall point I'm making about Luffy's final decision. Like, I'm not going to put my crew in danger. But before we get into that, we get like one of the coolest little stretches in which you get to see Luffy, Chopper, Zoro, Sanji kind of like being like, oh, hell no, it's go time. And you get to see them like all four, Chopper and like muscle form, muscle bound or whatever, just like looking big, looking tough.
It's one of the few times with Chopper where like he's trying to be a badass along with the other powerhouses.
I feel like they had to fit him in.
He succeeds. He says, I'm gonna come over here,
right?
And I'm gonna be with the boys, and we're gonna go knock some heads. They beat up Usopp.
And and when you see Usopp, because no one else has seen. Oh, and shout out to when they're Luffy looking like to the Franky house, because they had this whole encounter with Usopp and the Franky family, and they were like, "Screw you, buddy! You're not getting it. Too bad, haha!" And they beat him up. But like,
mind you, Franky's there too.
Franky kicks Usopp. That's like the last little.
And he mocks him too. He's like, "You're one of the weakest members on the crew." And I'm listening to this. I'm like, "Damn, man, Luffy really invited this guy." I forgot about all this emotional abuse. Like, I get it. Like, there's context outside of that because he kind of justifies it by saying, "You guys are pirates. You guys likely stole this money from someone else."
Franky has a preconceived idea of pirates.
There's so much.
He is a man. Franky
is a man.
We're meeting this random person.
He's a perverted man. Yeah.
So we've been talking about like, who's gonna join the crew? What carpenter they're gonna get? Like, and here's this dismantler in a mask who you don't see, nothing.
I did not buy it at this point. No.
Wrecking Usopp. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just like.
Could it be him?
He was at the bottom of the list.
Could it be? Could it be that guy?
It's definitely not this guy. Not yet.
He doesn't even look like a person because he has that mask and that.
He's got the mask on. Yeah.
He looks like the thug, like of just the city, like the random trolling thug that they have to deal with while they're taking on the serious problem.
Or he could be the CP9 mask figure that talks around for all we know.
He could be connected.
CP9.
Absolutely.
No. And the main point is he is a main antagonist of the Water 7 arc.
Actually,
really
he is listed. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Well,
ooh.
He flips, of course, but at first he is. I think he's actually listed as the second antagonist to join the Straw Hats.
I buy it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. I mean, he's the one that stole the money.
And he's in direct conflict.
He's making fun of Usopp. He's punching
nobody else. There's nobody else here who's like the antagonist. Like Franky's the only one we know is like bad news. Stole the money.
I mean, he literally kicks away Usopp, walks away with the 200 million, and he's like, have fun, boys. And like they leave Usopp leaking out in the front yard.
He's leaking blood, probably pee,
sweat,
probably
piss.
sweat. Like he's crying, like he's.
But
leaking.
it was the saddest thing to see, though.
It was sad.
It was so sad. I was so happy. I'm like, kick their ass, like now.
Oh, we wanted them to go.
From the moment everybody pulled up, I said, if they don't whoop their ass, I swear to God. Like I was waiting for it while they were beating Usopp's ass. I was like, oh no, where is the crew? Where are they?
I gotta give a shout out to Oda really quick, because if you can see this right here,
monster trio.
Doesn't Luffy look like Shanks right there? Just a little bit like Shanks.
Yeah, unrelated, but
and that's when I think Oda is like writing his top tier, because I'm reading into this, but that little moment where he looks like Shanks, to me at least, that's him doubling down on what Shanks taught him in the very first chapter. I don't care who you are, I don't care what reason it was, but when you hurt my friends, that's a no-go for me. I don't care if you were right or wrong.
I can buy it.
I also like to point out, as we were saying, the crew is realizing their roles outside of their designated roles. What's so sad about this is that Usopp, he's always been a coward. He's never been shy about that. But I feel this is the first time really that Usopp comes to grips that he is the weakest member. Because it's no longer kind of him and Nami being the weakest member. He's like, I am the weakest member. And then, it's this self-fulfillment that would come if he goes back and gets the money. But also he'll prove his worth to the crew.
Right.
And ultimately he still fails. So it's like, what good? Usopp is questioning, what good am I to this crew?
That's true, because I mean, like his roles outside of just being the designated sharpshooter, like he kind of takes care of the Mary a little bit, like he
does everything.
Yeah,
he does everything.
I don't know if I want to cry for him or laugh at him sometimes, like because it's like yeah, he discovered his role. That
I mean,
the weakest, but it's also sad because damn, he's the weakest, but it's hilarious because that is his role, and he even makes it's crazy. I know I'm jumping, but he even makes the second weakest stronger than him, like technically speaking. So
with Nami, yeah.
Oh yes,
it was his engine. But you see, like it's like he has roles outside of like being a sharpshooter.
Yes, and someone points it out later on. In the next little arc,
but that's the whole point of the arc,
right?
Oda's this saga is Oda, like he's really like showing this to you, how the Straw Hats have been going underneath a mindset that would lead them to failure. So like if the Straw Hats kept going how they were going, they would have never made it to. They wouldn't even have made it to like, what do you call it, Saboti.
They wouldn't make it past one more island. They were gonna sink. The merry-go would have sunk if one more island.
I mean, it's honestly beauty. I just I like how a theme that Oda played for laughs, which was Usopp's weakness and being a coward, is now something that he wants to spin being taken seriously, and I think he does it to an effect. Like it's great. It's great because some of us have even said it here. Some of us kind of wanted to cry for Usopp. He's just left on the floor in pieces. So Chopper, Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, they go in on the Franky family. Very satisfying. Destroys their home. Destroys everyone inside that building. And then kind of just recollects themselves back at the merry-go afterwards. And at that point, they start reassessing, well, here's what we're going to do with the merry-go. Luffy drops the news that, okay, we're going to be buying a new ship. So don't worry about having lost the 200 million. Usopp immediately takes what Luffy's telling him as, wait, are we not repairing it because of me? Like, because I lost that money? Do we not have enough money now to repair the Mary? And so you have Usopp trying to rationalize this decision made by Luffy. Luffy's kind of being dumb a little bit in a way where
Here's
he's
the
like,
thing.
But no, it's real.
Well, keep
This
in
is
mind,
the-
he made the decision. Usopp was asleep, so everybody knows
same
the
page,
decision.
yeah.
Everybody's on the same
everyone
page.
knows
right.
why. Everyone knows
yes.
why.
Yes.
But this scene is probably the best scene. The best written scene in One Piece.
This is a really good scene. It's a
Ooh,
really good
because
scene.
because Luffy, who he is as a character, he can't explain it any clearer to Usopp, and Usopp is choosing to take this personally because he views himself and the Marigold as one in this scene. He's like, oh, but the real subtext here is him saying, oh, if you can get rid of the Marigold, which we love so much, and you know how much this means to me, when am I going to be useless and you're going to let me go?
Yeah. Actually, yeah.
There's some back and forth.
There's
That's
symbolism
between
very
the two,
powerful.
It's like two things I felt in this. It's like, I think Luffy's decision is a sign of good leadership. I think his communication with Usopp is not good.
Very poor.
It's just like, he does not like deliver the news well. He does not like read where Usopp's coming from. He's not.
He wasn't even responding to Usopp.
Usopp was asking questions.
Yeah, Usopp was like needing straightforward answers. Luffy was just not giving it at
It doesn't
all.
matter. Don't worry.
Yeah, don't worry.
But
so
Luffy was being truthful. He was being
Yeah.
so truthful because it honestly had nothing to do with Usopp.
Yeah.
He was
honestly
being
had-
truthful, but not like he wasn't just completely clear. Again,
Yeah.
it's the
But
communication. It's the
to him as the captain, but to him as the captain, this is what Usopp is not getting in this scene. To him, he's saying, I'm the captain. I thought over this. The decision's done. I'm your captain.
He
gotta get on
fails
board.
at communicating it. He fails.
It's
so
an
badly
important
that
part
he
of
loses a crew member.
Yeah,
As
just
we're
because
about
you're
to get into.
Well, the build up to that though, I actually really like because it's kind of what Nino is alluding to, where Usopp's not listening, Luffy's getting pissed, and I think he like tackles him to the floor, and he's like, "Well, Usopp, if you don't like my decision."
Okay, so okay,
Ooh,
it
good
is a
moment.
really good build-up. It's a really
Good
good build-up.
moment.
Yes.
So Usopp, he's now questioning Luffy's leadership, and that is
Right.
why Luffy's getting pissed, and
Yeah.
that is why Luffy's about to say, "Well, if you don't want to, if you don't like the decision, you don't
Go
have
fuck
to
yourself.
be."
Yeah.
And it's Sanji who kicks the crap out of Luffy, and he says, "Stop right there before you say something you're gonna regret saying." And
I
it's-
love best scene.
it was
To me,
so
it's the best
good.
scene.
It's
It's the best
so
scene. It's the
good.
best scene.
But-
I'm sorry.
But when you're reading this
But
back,
Nino,
Go,
before we,
go.
if you're just gonna
Go,
move on, I just wanted to talk about this Sanji point real quick. I think
Go.
I just wanted to say that Sanji does not always have the time in the sun. He doesn't always have the best arc. I think this Sanji's easily best arc. And if I have to choose an MVP,
I mean,
This
this
is
is
his
a
best
really
arc.
good Sanji
this
moment.
is best arc.
No, I don't
this
know
is
about best
great
arc.
Sanji movement.
This is a great
Best
this is
arc
top
for
five,
Sanji
top
is
five
that-
Sanji moment for sure.
It is tough because again, the roles
Yeah.
with the characters.
And then this arc overall is a great arc for Sanji.
In this arc, again, Sanji is observant of what's going on, and he throughout the entire argument, he's voicing his concern. He's like, "Guys, calm down."
He's the only one who's keeping an eye on Robin. He's the only one who knows, something's off.
He says Robin's still missing, right? He's like, "The guys, we should not be arguing about this. Robin is missing."
Robin doesn't even know what's going on with the crew.
Correct. Actually, Zoro. So Zoro's kind of like
chaos.
Zoro's kind of taking it all in. Chopper and Nami are freaking out, and yes, Sanji is a really good character because he empathizes with everybody on the crew.
Right.
Like he's the empathetic. If Zoro's the perspective, Sanji is the empathy.
This is what I
Mhm.
loved. I love this.
So yeah, what after he kicks him, and again, it's disrespectful, but it's like that's how you talk to Luffy. Yeah.
No, I mean,
be
yeah,
honest.
they always hit each
Yeah.
other. They always
it needed to happen.
Yeah.
It definitely needed to
Because
happen.
he was seeing his captain was going to do something out of line. That's
I
no.
think Luffy immediately agreed. He was like,
Right.
Yeah.
I deserve that.
That's
I'm
why
sorry.
Luffy didn't fight back. Right.
And what does Usopp counter with? He's like, "No, go ahead, Luffy." Finish that sentence. This is why I really think this arc is like the best. Like you don't
The
get a lot of
emotion
it.
behind this arc and this fight in particular is
Well,
just,
again, all this is going on, and Robin is missing.
Guys,
Yeah.
stop doing this. You're tearing our family apart.
The thing is, though, it feels like Robin probably goes missing all the time. I know they've only really traveled Skypiea with her, but like I think she like went on and did her own thing, looking for like
Yeah.
But
architecture.
here,
stuff.
there's a genuine concern for her whereabouts.
Yeah, because
You
he just
know.
goes off and
And
there's
Sanji
no word.
sees her with like a mask guy, right?
He does see her, and he calls
Earlier,
out to her.
He's like, "Yo, that's sketch."
Yes.
Right. And she says something along the lines of like, I'm leaving the crew.
No, that's
Don't.
he runs into her again with Chopper.
Oh,
That's-
okay, so that's
the next day.
The
That's
first
the
time
next-
is when
he's
she-
alone.
Okay, got it.
He's on a bull and he sees her. Yeah.
Right. He's not with Chopper yet.
No,
on
no.
that.
Him and Chopper go out the next day. and
Okay,
they see
got
her.
it.
Yeah.
Uh,
So
So
I think it's your image that they right, or at this point, Usopp's what? He's just
they're pissed. They're
he's distraught.
Usopp challenges into a fight. Like, "Yo, next day."
Well,
Let's
he
go.
first says, you know, I'm leaving the crew because you know
Yeah.
I don't agree with this. But
Mm.
the reason why he challenges him because he's like, you're the captain, so the Mary is, you know, technically yours. Well, I challenge you to a duel for the Mary.
Yeah, because Luffy was being a jackass, honestly, if you ask me. When it came to the marriage,
yes, Nino, he was.
He was
No
because
way.
you know that ship is rightfully Usopp's ship from the day one. So
Oh
why
my
are you
gosh.
think like you don't get to make these big decisions and not even explain?
But I'm the captain.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
but-
not even explain exactly what. Like Luffy never said why the ship could not be.
Yes,
brought
he
back.
did. He did. He
No,
said, but he said, I didn't want to have to.
He said
said, "I
the
didn't
ship
wanna
can't
have
be
to tell
brought
you."
back, but he never said exactly like, okay, to
I-
explain to you, Usopp, so you don't keep fucking
All right,
with me.
The
here.
situation there
like-
was never gonna be an explanation because Usopp is already at such a loss for having lost the money. And
But
then
Usopp-
Usopp or Luffy's tactic was so poor.
no,
was ass.
given the circumstances, if you take, you know, the fact that Usopp lost the money, got beat up, had to be rescued, you take that out of the equation. Luffy says this, and they might have a better conversation. But Usopp, he just woke up to the worst news possible.
After
Luffy
getting beaten
maybe
up
should have
twice.
waited.
Maybe he could have waited. Maybe
Look
he
at
could
this
have.
catalog,
Iceberg.
Usopp. Look at all these
But
ships.
Usopp is definitely not in the right mindset.
He hands him the
Usopp-
catalog.
Oh, he did give him the catalog. Usopp's not in the right mindset. He's
Like goodness, man. He
this
is
is
still in
not the
bandages.
time to be
Look
talking
at
about
him.
this.
He's a mummy.
right. This is not the time to be talking about, hey,
And
But-
Luffy
but-
should have
but-
waited.
but you forget-
Luffy
but
does
you
not get a
forget-
passing grade. He does not
look,
get a passing
No.
grade.
But you forget that
Oh.
Usopp is Luffy's best friend, so he wants to make this decision with him. They're just both of them couldn't see each other eye to eye, and overall, I think Usopp is the one who crossed the line with saying all that shit. He's told Luffy, "I misjudged you."
Ooh,
Whoa.
he does.
That's
He
Mm.
terrible.
does.
And
I
when
feel
Luffy
it.
is like,
I feel that.
when Luffy, what do you call it? When Luffy prides himself on being 100% real all the time. Like he's never gonna give you a fake version of himself. And like even when you tell him, "Oh, you gotta go in disguise," he'll just announce himself. You know what I mean? As we'll see in later arcs, where he's like, "I'm gonna be picking the pirate to many people who want to kill him," but he wants to do this in the only way he can. It's just these are just two people who don't know how to communicate with each other, but really care about each other that ultimately clash. It's beautifully written.
They
I
do the
think-
1v1.
I
Oh, go ahead.
think it was just
Yeah.
one of those, like, I don't know if you ever like watch those shows or whatever, and then the two, it's like this big
Yeah, I remember that panel.
it's like this big misunderstanding of
it's a
like
misunderstanding.
Because no,
yeah.
in that panel that he
like-
showed from Nino, I think that's when Nami's coming up to him and he's like,
yeah, she's
"Can
like,
you
don't
guys
go through with
stop?"
it.
And
Yeah.
he's like,
Too late.
"Too late." and
literally
he goes
says,
back to
"It's
sleep.
too
Leave me
late."
alone.
He
Yeah,
says,
leave
"Too
me
late."
alone. Yeah.
But-
Oh,
and then
what
I
were
don't-
we saying, Kame, Chris?
Oh, I was just saying, like, it's just it really Luffy was on it. It felt like Luffy was on an ego trip, and Usopp he was rightfully pissed and he was rightfully angry. And I think if he needed to be heard, but Luffy doesn't listen and doesn't give a fuck about anything unless it's the goal and getting the One Piece. And if it's like look, I know he was just trying to, just tell Usopp, we have to move on. But at the end of the day, at least explain. I know you're not good with your words, Luffy, but just at least somebody should have been there to help explain. Hey, look, the ship is never coming back because of X, Y, and Z. Doesn't matter what amount of money you put in, we're never going to get it back. We got to get a new ship. You just saved you a whole scene.
I'm going to tell you that right now.
Anime.
You do that and you don't have a great arc. They needed to come to blows.
No, of course, yeah. Like it's as good as it is because of what happens and how it
had to blow up.
Of course, it had to blow up, but that doesn't mean Luffy communicated well. You know what I mean?
Nobody's saying that. Nobody's in the right mindset here.
Nino saying he did communicate well.
Nobody's in the right mindset.
Clear.
No, I'm saying ultimately, I think Usopp is the one who stepped out of line. That's all I'm like.
They both stepped out of line.
They did, but ultimately, Luffy's the captain.
Correct. Yes, that's
as someone will say later on. We're not playing pirates here.
Yes.
We're not playing. That's true because we have a 1v1 and the reward is the merry-go. And it's a 1v1. Like you as a reader, you're reading this part, you're like, this is unfair.
Okay. Real quick, I really don't like this fight for one reason, because
why?
If Usopp can do everything he's about to do in this fight,
why didn't he do it?
Why can't he do it like every other time? Granted, he knows his opponent. He knows his
opponent, but it's also
better than anybody.
Right. And
but
he's
also genius.
Right. It is genius because he's going into, he even says it himself. He's like, Luffy, you may think this might be an easy fight, but I know you. I've sailed with you. Like that's the one advantage that I have compared to the opponents that, when you fought Eneru, he was like, what the hell is rubber? And he lost. He lost to that. So with Usopp, I can understand why he's not this badass. Again, like for example, the Franky family. Why didn't he pull these moves with the Franky family? I feel like because of what's at stake. Usopp had a goal right here, which is the merry-go, and I think that's kind of a way to just show him that if he's more than capable of handling his own. He's very capable.
Yeah.
Wait, pause, because this has been said 100 times this entire podcast. I call it the going merry. Y'all say merry-go?
It's back and forth. It's back and forth.
I call it the merry.
The merry-go, going merry. It's
as long as you have merry and go as somewhere in what you say, you're good.
It's supposed to be going merry. And
I only know the going merry, so I was like, merry-go. Did I hear it wrong the entire time?
No.
The Viz translation I think has it as merry-go.
It is. The Viz is merry-go, and yes, the direct Japanese thing is going merry. It doesn't matter. Just say merry. Just say merry.
We know what you're talking about.
Because when Luffy screams, he doesn't say going merry. He says merry.
Wait, Luffy screams?
All right, hold on.
Sorry, getting ahead.
Time out. All right, I don't want to go full brain blast on you guys right now.
Oh dear.
But I heard this, and you guys are probably aware of this too. But when talking about the symbolism of One Piece, they've said the ships' names play a big role in terms of the stretch they're on, I guess, for lack of a better term.
Okay.
So the going merry is the part of the adventure where, they're just going merry. Things are a little more lighthearted.
We're just vibing.
Yeah, things are building, but they're not quite there. And then something that happens in, I guess, the third episode of this arc, or maybe next episode. Anyways, that happens soon, marks the kind of cutoff point where things really change for the crew in the adventure. And that's where the next ship comes in, whose name has to do with
something
that we'll get to. So I don't know.
Something.
If you want to
Very
take that
important.
concept, they have been going merry. And now that the merry is on the last of its legs, things aren't so merry right now.
And I just want to, and I know I'm doing like close readings at this point of these panels, but this is a really good arc to close read. But
It is.
I agree.
It's all
It's
there.
really good.
what do you call it? Chopper is like, can't we stop them? Usopp is seriously injured. And this is just furthering the Zoro is a racist cop agenda. Zoro says, if you can't bear to watch, go to your room. What kind of answer is that? He says, I want to
say
see
that.
He says, I want to see this what do you call it? This man get beat up. I want to see Usopp get beat up. I'm tired of him.
No, that is not what was going on, and you know it. This is not what he just stands by his captain and what his captain decides. And
I mean, he even says it again when Usopp arrives for the 1v1 and he starts off with his typical lies. He's like, I'm in command of 8,000 men. And Chopper's like, really? And Zoro's like, go to your room. Just go. Leave.
That's great. Yeah, that's a great interaction between Chopper
In the
and
middle of
Zoro.
something very serious.
And then he does the Usopp voodoo, a
He
razor
does
blade
Usopp
running between
voodoo.
each of your teeth. Ugh.
He does. I mean, it's painful stuff. And Usopp's pulling off some cool tricks. He's using some of the impact dials that he got from Skypiea.
well, no, he only uses one impact dial. But
Oh,
he's-
right, for the
he
blow.
uses a breath dial to put out a gas that Luffy can't smell because he hit him with those rotten egg stars.
Right.
So Luffy had no idea the gas. There's caltrops on the ground because Luffy's rubber. Sharp objects are like really his biggest weakness.
The fire sauce.
Yes.
All this.
The fire
And you know
sauce.
what? Actually, now my frustration's brought back because Grandmaster, I swear, I was so aggravated seeing him do all this and saying, "Oh, every time you get your ass beat, you just freeze up. Like it doesn't matter. Like none of this matters."
He had a goal. He had a goal now.
All right, yeah, I see it, but it's like, come on, man,
for real.
you're
He
capable.
doesn't even see it in himself, and I think that's the point. Like he got beaten up, and he still has that mentality of I'm the weakest Straw Hat member.
But but as we'll see, there's certain things that Usopp can only do. And I think there's, and this is what we're due for one any day now, going forward into the end game of One Piece. But there's always a moment where Usopp stands up for what he believes in. Before this, it was in Alabasta. In Alabasta, he was like, you told me that my captain will never be king of the pirates, that his dream is nothing. I'm gonna get serious. And then he wins the fight. So
Right.
When he gets serious, when there are important things on the line, Usopp usually wins. But when he's just like, I'm a coward and he's gonna lose.
I think this arc is showing how Usopp can tap into that side. That might be what this entire.
I think that was the
arc.
point. He has a side to him that he can hold his own. Obviously, a 1v1 with Luffy is out of the cards for him.
He never stood a chance.
He never did.
It wasn't out of the cards per se because he was
so out
what?
of the
he was doing damage. He was doing damage.
never-
People
going to win that
always
fight.
do damage to Luffy.
But that's what I'm getting at. Luffy,
He landed some clean hits.
in order for Usopp to win a fight against Luffy, he has to impact dial him like 10 times.
He has to be able to
Not
take a
once.
hit
Luffy
from
would
Luffy.
never.
And he's got to be able to take a hit. Yeah.
And outrun him, outfly him.
But you got to give him props. He did hold his own. He did put damage to Luffy. He didn't make it a cakewalk. Luffy
Right. He did
Luffy
not give him
struggled a
that
bit.
win.
Right. Luffy had to work for that win. So
And notice he only hit him once, right? He hit him.
He hit him twice. He hit him twice.
Well, the two times.
One,
was it bullet?
A bullet
and pistol?
No, pistol.
And he got first hit by, I think
bullet was the last one. Bullet was the last one. He goes
pistol, then bullet. Yeah, he did a pistol and a bullet.
Okay.
And a bazooka.
No,
he absorbed the bazooka. He absorbed the bazooka. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, he lasted his own as long as he could against the man worth 100 million berries. And he's left on his knees, and Luffy even realizes it. He knew the gap in power, because he even screams it afterward. He's like, you knew you couldn't beat me. And what happens? He gets up, and even though by right of combat he won, you knew you could not. Exactly.
And then it's just a white background with them two, and it's half the page.
Devastated. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful panel.
He wins, but you were gonna say, he lets Usopp have the Mary anyways. You know.
That was disrespectful from Lucas.
That was disrespectful.
He says,
I get it. I get why he did it, but it's like Usopp lost, and now you're like, here are the crumbs. Just take it.
Well, see, go ahead.
There's a great character moment with Chopper. There's so many great little character moments for all the crew members in this arc, which might also make it one of the best. That they stop Chopper from going over to Usopp. They tell him not to go over there.
Well, it's Sanji again. It's Sanji
to treat his wounds.
To stop.
Yeah, and then the last second, Chopper still sneaks away and leaves him a bunch of medicine and stuff. And it's
he doesn't treat him right, but he
doesn't treat him, but he does leave him with a bunch of
Doesn't Usopp leave the crew? Isn't Usopp leaving the crew or something?
Yeah, Usopp left the crew after the argument. The duel was just for the Mary.
That's why Sanji. Because I was like, wait, why would Sanji tell Chopper? But it's because now he wasn't a part of the crew. And Sanji was like,
Sanji tells him that because he says, Chopper, think about how degrading that must feel for him, that after a duel that he invokes, that we still take care of him, the crew that left him, that you're gonna
the crew that he left, because they didn't leave him.
Right. So he's like, you're gonna add salt to injury, Chopper. Don't go over there and do that. But also too, you get Zoro, who, again, he's not called the first mate, he's the first mate, the vice captain. He tells Luffy, don't waver in what just happened. Stand by with what just happened. Take it all in. You're our captain. Because if you waver, then what are we?
Who do we rely on?
Yeah, who do we rely on?
And I think
Luffy's crying.
Luffy is crying.
And that's important. That's important. That's very important.
He follows what Zoro's saying, but he cries.
He can't help but cry.
Because he doesn't want to do this. He didn't want to kick Usopp's ass and get rid of the Mary. I love this scene because I feel like Zoro says that in response to Luffy's emotions in that moment, because he knows that was a difficult decision for his captain. But he's like, listen, I know you're probably an emotional wreck right now, but don't regret what you just made the decision for, involving all of us. Because he's right. He did put into perspective for Luffy, if we can't rely on you for making a decision like this, I mean, you're the captain. Who do we rely on?
But to be very fair, Zoro's a murderer compared to everybody else in the crew. He kills people. So he's just built different. He's
a bounty hunter, murderer.
No. He's killed people. He's killed people.
Who's he killed?
He's probably killed people at Whiskey.
Okay,
he just beat the crap out of them. Give him a slash, not a deep wound.
Exactly.
But,
hit you with the back of the sword like he always does.
He has done that. It's true.
It's funny.
But man, the emotions are high.
The emotions are high,
but then Oda doesn't waste any more time. He packs this arc with stuff. Immediately, the next chapter, Iceberg shot.
Okay, I just want to point out, this all happens. This is one day in Water 7.
This
night ends with Iceberg being shot.
Wait, hold on. Doesn't Usopp
No.
challenge him like the next day?
No,
No, it's
No,
that
it's
same
at that
night.
night.
That's that night.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And what do you
Got
call it? We don't see it until the next morning where Iceberg's in the hospital.
Yeah.
Right.
So
That's-
Iceberg shot. Franky shows up at Franky's house, having spent the money. And
Well,
he's like,
before that though, Iceberg says he saw who shot him.
Robin.
He says
Oh.
it's Nico Robin.
Oh.
And
Oh,
you
no.
know, it's the government has reported that Nico Robin, because at this point there's only 3 bounties. It's Luffy, Robin, and Zoro. And the world government is like, Nico Robin is a Straw Hat. So
Yeah.
Iceberg now says the Straw Hats are attempting to kill me.
Are the
'Cause I
ones who
saw
did
Nico
this.
Robin.
Yeah, this is when I think like this is like the mystery builds even more and more. And this is like the mysterious part of the Water 7 arc. And I think it's really good because you have no idea what's happening. Is Robin, you don't think Robin's like, you know, assassinating anybody, but it is like, yo, what's going on? Like, who's these masked people? Franky shows up, drops his mask. You don't see his face yet, but like, you know, just like a lot is building. It's like this fight happens with Luffy and Usopp, and Oda's still setting the pieces. He's still building right now. It's still like on the incline of the action and the tension.
So I have to just interject with something off topic just to prove my point. Apparently confirmed at the very least, the previous Mr. 7 was killed by Zoro because he tried to recruit him to Baroque Works. So Zoro's a cold-blooded killer.
Enough.
Cold-blooded
Enough.
killer.
Moving on.
Fake
We're gonna
news.
lose so
Fake
many
news.
followers coming across as Zoro haters. People are gonna tune us out.
You're using sharp objects at some point. Something's gonna poke the wrong organ, so it's fine. But right, we get the news about the attempted assassination of Iceberg, and now the mystery's building up because of Nico Robin, and the crew's trying to find out where she is. And I think that's the part that we were alluding to earlier, where it's Sanji and Chopper that see her first.
Yes.
Right?
So Sanji and Chopper are actually having a really funny little adventure because, you know, a lot has transpired. So they do see Robin, and she's across the waterway. And yeah, she says, I'm leaving the crew. I no longer want to travel with you all. Goodbye. And like Sanji tries to swim across to her, but she disappears.
That was kind of weak. I
He
was
coulda
like,
jumped.
Sanji, jump. Why are you swimming? Why are
Yeah,
you-
correct. I was like, this is okay. But yes, they are the only ones to have seen Robin since they got here in Water 7.
And
But also
I think
go ahead.
as that is happening, Franky confronts Luffy.
Well, okay, so what happens is a lot of things are happening. So
A lot of things are happening.
It's a lot to juggle.
Iceberg is the mayor. So now the whole city is against the Straw Hats.
Yeah.
They're trying to restrain them. They're trying to cuff them. They're trying to make them answer for, you know, why that's going on. So then Franky, yes, comes seeking revenge for the Franky family. But it's funny because the townspeople don't like Franky either. So
What's he doing here?
Yeah, it's like,
What?
it's that pervert. It's that perv, Franky.
Do they call him a perv because of the Speedo?
It's the Speedo, yes.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, because I'm like, other than that, he doesn't do anything.
He doesn't do anything
perverted.
he doesn't
Yeah.
like, you know.
It's the Speedo.
He's not Sanji. He's not going around acting like Sanji.
So at this point, now Franky's like out for blood. So him and Luffy start going at it a little bit. But also too, the Galley Law shows up trying to apprehend Luffy.
It's a 3-way brawl.
It is a 3-way brawl because they
Galley
don't
Law,
necessarily
Luffy.
like Franky either. Nobody likes Franky.
He's I mean
Which
at
is
least in this
important. That's important.
It is important, but you get to see some cool gimmicks with Franky, right? Because you learn that he's a cyborg in this fight.
Yeah, you get to learn he's a cyborg.
He's a
He's got some
cyborg.
gadgets.
Such an odd character.
Very.
Such an odd character.
At this point, was this where
this
you
was the
thought?
moment?
No.
This was the moment for me. I said, okay, I think this is the guy that we're probably going to see join the crew.
But
And
we
that's
don't even know he's a
because-
shipwright yet, right?
No, but I
No,
only
you don't
said
know
that-
he's a shipwright. No.
I didn't know he was a shipwright.
Oh,
but
yeah,
I
you
only
don't.
said that because it's the first time any unique character that comes among us, like literally extremely unique, always joins the crew. Say I'm wrong.
Okay.
Like they're
You're
like
not
they're
wrong.
like they're like chosen one unique every time. And I'm
But
like,
see, you say this.
You're never going to see this ever again.
You
Like,
say this, but no one was ever going to call Nico Robin join the crew. Like we talked about that.
I mean that
That was out of left field.
I
that
think,
was
I think this is
one.
the
I would
stretch.
say, yeah.
This is the stretch where Oda's playing with how a crew member joins. Like Nico Robin, out of left field. Like he throws 10 carpenters at you and then says like, oh, actually, this is the one. And then with Brooke, well, we'll get there. But it's like, you know, without spoiling anything, it's
True.
like,
Very
Right.
true.
And it's funny
it's like,
because
boom.
their challenge to Franky, like Luffy, again, very important. Luffy learns that this is Franky, he gets pissed. He
Yes.
gets
Yes,
pissed
he does
immediately.
get pissed.
And I love that because despite
love it.
what might have transpired the night before, he's like, I know who started this. And
Yep.
he sees him. He's like, you're looking for me? I'm right here, boy. And he starts wailing on him. I love it. I love it because it shows, again, Luffy's character. He made that tough decision, but still, it's like it hurts him. He wants to hurt someone else that caused that pain that he had to endure.
Domino effect. Franky family doesn't beat up Usopp or, you know, steal the money. This might have not have happened like this, you know?
Right.
So
Would you say Luffy's decisions have been intelligent ones?
yes. He's just like HooperTV says, he's not
Notated.
a communicator.
That's not what he
Notated.
meant. That's not what he meant.
Notated.
what'd you
Nobody
mean?
said it. Notated. It's
Yeah,
done.
I feel like you're contradicting what I said. I said Luffy has like high emotional intelligence, low IQ.
For those of you that don't know what we're
They
talking
needed a new
about,
ship.
check out our Discord where the
Yeah,
Discord
that's about the
always
Discord.
has
That's the question.
That's
that was it.
that's the
Always ask
Discord.
question.
Okay,
More
whatever.
context.
I'm just
in
saying
the
they needed a new
Discord.
ship.
you don't know what hole you just dug right now.
I'm not sure. I was just siding with the fact that they need a new ship. So
Listen, Galila, Luffy, Franky, all going at each other. What caused them to
used
split up?
the vent. Franky
Right, he
used
blew
Coop
up
to vent,
a good
He
portion of the
wrecks
box.
everything. All of it falls on Galila, and that's the only thing that takes them out.
Right.
And then Franky's like deflated.
Yes, his hair it goes
Yeah,
down.
his hair is deflated.
So he says
Then
I need more
Luffy-
cola.
he says he needs cola.
he needs to go to the bar where we meet somebody named Blano.
Bluno.
Bluno. Ew, you say
As soon as-
Blano?
As soon as I said it, I was like, I'm sure that's not right.
It's Bluno. He
It's
looks like the
Bluno.
dude from Popeye.
I'm a manga reader. It's all up here.
I'm a manga reader too.
I never
It's
say it out loud.
BLUENO. Blue.
I
No.
just-
Yeah, it's
the
blue.
The symbols just register in my head. I see the
Funny
words
though.
spelled out.
This has got to have an accent somewhere. in there.
Blano. I mean,
Bueno.
you can't.
No.
You can't
Either way,
blame him.
Bluno runs the shop and he's like, Bluno, get my regular. And he gives him more cola.
Yep. Gets more
Gives him more
soda.
cola.
And then Luffy goes to Iceberg.
Yes, Luffy wants direct answers. So
He
He
breaks
goes-
into
he
the
breaks into
company.
icebergs.
Right.
And Iceberg, and he basically says, you know, tell it to my face that you saw Robin, you know, and he's like,
I did.
yeah, he's like,
Okay.
for without a doubt, it was Robin. But then I forget how the rest of that conversation goes because
Mind you, I'm sorry, real quick. The attempted assassination on Iceberg, he was shot like 5 times from what I remember. I don't know how this man is alive. Well,
I'll
again,
tell you
just
why later.
Adding to the, I mean, there's a reason why
I mean,
he
yes,
was
but
left a lot, but getting shot 5 times. I'm sorry. Again, just adding just more crumbs to the
Yes,
theory
more
that
crumbs.
no one dies in One Piece.
right.
But go on, yes.
I know the conversation it's alluding to that Iceberg is susceptible to the idea that maybe there's something more going on here, and maybe it wasn't, necessarily the Straw Hats behind this, but he knows for a fact it was Nico Robin. But he does let Luffy basically leave, but he does try to shoot him too, but it doesn't work.
Right.
But they're alluding to that Iceberg may know what's really going on here.
I'm reading it here. Iceberg wants to see Robin one more time.
Yes. Yeah.
And
so
he
tells Luffy to bring her. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
It's getting really plot heavy right now, which, probably doesn't make always the best podcasting, but it's really good stuff. It's like they need to find Robin, and they need to bring her back to Iceberg that night. Something's going down that night that's going to lead everybody back there.
Well, because at first it's like they thought Iceberg was dead, right? They thought it was an assassination, that Iceberg was dead, but he managed to recover. So it was then ruled out as an attempted assassination.
And
so now their thought is she's gonna come back and finish the job, right?
So someone's gonna try again. Someone's gonna try again.
Right.
So
finish the job.
Double tap this time.
So
if that's the goal.
So there's like three things going on now. There's the Straw Hats say they're gonna stake out Iceberg's mansion and try to clear their names and find Robin. Right. There's Franky, who says, well, I got to get revenge on Luffy. Let's go kidnap the Long Nose, because they saw him still working on the Mary.
Right.
So they said, let's go kidnap him to draw out Luffy. And then the third thing is we get a frame, or you see Robin actually meeting up with the masked figure, and I think it's more than one masked figure at this point.
Yeah.
Very briefly,
one.
like
no, it just has to be one.
They're like in a cafe, and I want to say there might have been.
Yeah, no, yeah, the cafe. It's definitely one. If the cafe is definitely one.
But it's not the same masked figure though.
Yeah.
Okay.
The cafe is definitely one, and then it's like then Golly Law is like setting up fort outside of Iceberg's place.
Right.
Yeah. Dang. It's so good. It's so good, and I hope we're able to explain what happens well.
And go ahead, comment, Chris.
The mask guys. So they don't ever get revealed. I think these are the same mask guys we see recently, like now, right? If I'm not mistaken.
No. So at this point, we've only seen the tall mask figure. This new mask figure,
so when
he's shrouded.
The bear masked figure.
This really isn't working. Yeah,
you know
the bear
who that
mask
is.
figure.
Yeah.
Yes,
there it is.
He wasn't wearing the bear, but the bear is the same one. So in the anime, there's a scene where there's another figure with a different voice talking to her about the second plan, and it's very brief. They don't really tell you the details. It's just very brief, but it's clearly a different one from the CP9.
Oh my goodness, and we're forgetting one more thing. So much is happening. It's so packed. Aqua Laguna is coming.
It's on the rise.
An annual sea storm, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That raises the water level.
Why do you live here? Why do you live here?
Why do you live here?
I get it. It's the Grand Line, but why do you live here?
Right.
You literally got
So
it.
You know what's crazy? And you also thinking at this point, like, dang, the Grand Line's crazy. Like, you're like everywhere you live, someone lives in some type of harsh environment, not knowing that shit gets worse from here. Well, not worse, but crazier.
I think you take what you can. You take what you can.
Exactly.
Where else are you gonna go?
No island is perfect on the Grand.
You could
Line.
always be like, it could be worse. It could be worse. But what's funny here is that I think is it Sanji and Chopper?
Chopper, they're like, they say some stupid thing. Hey, Aqua Laguna's coming. We got to make sure everybody knows.
Yeah, they're like,
everybody,
everyone.
It's where this wave comes and hits, and they're yelling it right outside the merry-go, so Usopp can hear. So good. Perfect.
And then he doesn't even hear. He's like, what was that?
No, he hears it. He hears it.
Doesn't.
No, he does. He's like, what's that about a high tide? That's the wind's picking up. That's right.
No, I'm telling you, Usopp comes out of the Mary. He's like inside. He walks out. He's like, what was all that screaming? He has no idea.
No, I swear to you, I'm pretty sure the panel, because he said.
No, I'm telling
Yes.
you, Usopp did not know it was them.
Maybe it's no, he didn't know it was them that said it, but he heard what was being said because then he comments on the wind. He comments on the because you know why? In the manga.
In both, because I mean, now we're jumping to that part now. He was gonna leave the Mary out there.
I'm just saying, when he heard Sanji and Chopper, he didn't recognize that it was Sanji and Chopper. But when he came out, he heard enough to question the wind was picking up along the shore, and he was like, "Now that I think about it, the wind is picking up a bit." He was mildly aware of what was gonna happen. Did he have the solution? No, he did not. I can literally point to you. Do you want to do this?
Well, hold on.
No,
let's go.
I want to move on.
Nope, too late. I'm gonna go get it.
Let's go to the epicenter of this stretch. I think of this arc. It's Luffy, Nami, Zoro. They're staking out, right?
And Chopper
are staking out. Sanji's just doing his Sanji wandering.
Okay,
thing.
that's the thing about Sanji, and this arc does it really well, and so does Enies Lobby. You're like, where the fuck is Sanji?
Yeah. All right. So Sanji's doing his own thing.
I'm sorry. No, we're gonna dial it back just a little bit. We'll dial it back just a little bit for Grandmaster. Hold on a second. I literally had the panel right here.
All right. As you're doing this, I will say that this is one of my favorite covers. This cover is amazing.
Oh yeah, that's the one I'm looking at right now.
I know. I have it also.
You see that, Grandmaster? Volume 36. Right there.
That's okay.
Right there.
Usopp didn't know about Aqua Laguna.
Don't worry. Hold on. Just hold on. Don't worry.
He did know about Aqua Laguna.
He did not know about Aqua
Laguna.
Because
he was repairing the ship to, like, it was specifically for Aqua Laguna. He knew about it.
But he didn't hear it from Sanji
We've established Chopper. He did not know it was Sanji or Chopper, but right here. Let's see if we can see it. Oh, can you see it?
Can't see it.
Okay.
Usopp says you got to do this. You got to put your face and then.
Oh, okay. So let's see. Right here. Right.
I can't see what that says.
Of course.
What chapter was it?
I'll read it for you. He says, "What were those voices just now after hearing Chopper and Sanji?" So he doesn't know it's Chopper and Sanji that were yelling at him. Then right below that, what does he say right here? Something about a high tide? Question mark.
Wow, so he knows about Aqua Laguna.
Come to think of it, the wind is pretty strong. That is literally what we've been saying. He picked up on it and found out, okay, I heard someone saying something about a high tide.
And he did nothing about it.
Doesn't matter. He knew.
He didn't know.
Case in point, I already proved my manga panel.
Petty moments in the podcast.
He didn't know.
Anyways, after the case has been settled.
Time to set up the stakes. Time to set up the pieces of I think this is like up there for me. Like these stretch of chapters right there are really up there for me. So you have the head honchos of Galley Law stationed outside of Iceberg's place. You got Luffy, Zoro, Chopper, Nami outside waiting to just see if anything sketchy goes down. And you have Iceberg kind of just chilling in his room, waiting to see if anything's going to happen. And then slowly but surely, the pieces start to play out. Because I think Robin and a big bear guy show up.
Right.
They show up first. Or actually,
a couple of things.
I think I think Iceberg sends Khalifa away and says, bring in
Paulie.
Right.
And this is where Paulie he's giving crew member vibes. He seems important at this moment.
Yes,
you know,
Kame, Chris.
Paulie.
Yes,
We've been
Kame.
sleeping on Paulie this whole podcast.
No.
But
Paulie's pretty great.
Paulie's been leading the charge anytime Galley Law is involved. Like, if it ain't
Exactly.
Iceberg, it's Paulie. And yes, he brings Paulie in, and he tells Paulie to go to either some other site off the Galley Law complex. There's a safe.
No, I think it's in the room. I think it's in the building.
It is in the building.
Okay, it's in the building. It's in a room, and it's in a safe. He says, go get those. And it's blueprints. You don't know two of what.
Well, it's been hinted at through the
stretch.
story so far, where
I don't think they've dropped it at all yet.
not blueprints, but in the beginning part of the arc, we had government officials coming over to visit Iceberg.
You're right.
And we didn't know what exactly they wanted from him, but it would be frequent visits. They would be like, "You gonna give it to us?" No, and then they would leave. Again, they would visit.
Or no. Iceberg alluded that he didn't know what they were talking about.
Right.
Like he didn't. Like there were no such. The thing you're looking for is not here.
He would shoo them away, basically.
Right.
No, I'm sure.
So in this moment, he sends Paulie away. He sends Khalifa away and tells Paulie a secret. And then I think Paulie goes to check out the secret, and then an explosion happens because, I mean, they don't tell you this at this moment, but CP9's like, we got him. We've set it up where Iceberg thinks he's gonna die, so he's finally giving the blueprints to the next in line, like to the apprentice. We can now make our move. Explosion happens. Whip Girl shows up. That's when Robin and the Bear Man show up. And I think the two of the members of Galley Law run away. You know, they run away because they think they hear the explosion. Yeah, they hear the explosion.
No, you don't.
Do you need the manga panel again?
When they set up the Galley Law, you don't actually realize who's not there.
What do you mean? No. You, Kaku and Lucci are left at the door. They stay at the door. The other two members run away to go explore, to go see what exploded. And
that's when you see their bodies later, and you're like, oh wow, Lucci and Kaku are down.
Yes, exactly. Then you start seeing. Then all the mask people show up. The Skull Guy, the Minotaur, and Luffy bust in. Because the Skull Guy and the Minotaur, they confront Paulie. They're like, yo, what do you got for us? And this is when things just get super hectic because Luffy busts in,
Zoro and Nami.
No, yeah. Oh my gosh, hold up.
Well, no, hold on. They bust in at the same time.
Wait, you gotta sell it though, okay? It's not that they just show up. It's like they're foreboding and they're standing over Paulie. Like, we took out all the guards, we got you dead to rights. Give us those plans in your hand right there. And so yes, Robin and the Bear Guy are in they're in the room with Iceberg. Luffy busts in. Actually, Luffy got stuck. Luffy disappeared and he got stuck in between the building.
No, not yet.
Yeah.
No, it happens twice.
It happens twice.
Yeah,
it happens twice.
Yeah, it happened twice.
I thought it was once before, but it was twice on stuff.
Yeah.
He tried jumping across the way Kaku was doing it.
He does get stuck.
Yeah,
Man.
when he was hopping across the buildings. So Luffy's like, I can do that too, and he gets stuck in between a building. So because they're wondering, where's Luffy? Where's Luffy in all this? He was supposed to.
Right, the chaos is now going on. I don't remember how he gets unstuck.
Oh no, I remember why. Their logic was they thought Luffy went ahead because he just went guns blazing to go and attack the company. And they're like, okay, so if Luffy is going in guns blazing, he should have thinned out this area of the building. And they go there, Nami and Zoro, and they get to the page. Bam, right there. He's stuck. Luffy is stuck in that page. Nami and Zoro go to the front of the building. They're like, okay, so it should be empty here. Full guards. They're all waiting there. They're like, wait, where's Luffy? He was supposed to take care of this. He's stuck in a building. He can't. He's sandwiched in between the crack of two buildings. But so what? Zoro, Nami, they start busting through them, right?
So yeah, so Zoro, Nami, and Chopper, they all get to
Chopper's there. Oh yeah, Chopper's there too.
They all get to Iceberg's room last. I don't remember what happened. I don't know how Luffy got out. How did Luffy get out of the buildings?
I think he just eventually squeezes.
Yeah, he just says
he just squeezed out.
He just says huff. I got out finally.
Him a
that
while.
was pretty bad.
Oda sometimes likes to use Luffy getting stuck as like a plot device to maneuver pieces before Luffy can interrupt. But so that's what he's doing here.
And Luffy does interrupt. He does burst in on Paulie, and him and Paulie get captured. They stick him to the wall.
Yeah,
the floor.
This is the floor. So I don't know if we're selling this. I don't know if we're selling this. So let me just.
It's chaos. It's really hard to connect all the pieces.
Happening. But to Grandmaster Hoop's point, there's like just this energy during these chapters where it's like it's so foreboding. These masked villains look so scary, and like at least writing like or reading in the manga, it's just like in like the black and white, seeing like these like this Minotaur figure is so like
the Minotaur looks devilish.
With
like
the,
I think
with
the
eyes, with the really
eyes.
Weird eyes.
Yeah, the Minotaur person's so intense, and like all this galley law people that you've like kind of like seen be like these super strong players just get wrecked. Right. Like Kaku, Lucci, the other guy, all of them just get wrecked by like these mass figures. And you're just like, one, it's two things are happening. One, it feels like most of the pieces that were potentially, the bad guys have been taken out. And it's just like, who are these people? You hear about CP9, and CP9's like this government agency, and that was explained at the bar. And so you're like seeing them in action while so much chaos is going down, and they're all like making these like crazy moves, and it's really good stuff. And then
you have that we get to that room with Iceberg, and it's only him and Nico Robin at this point. And he says something super. This is like one of the most important scenes probably in all of One Piece, and really for Robin's arc, where he was just like, I've always wanted to meet you, so I can kill you.
So I can get, he pulls out a gun so I can kill you.
And then he's like, because of the poneglyphs, you should know that the poneglyphs are, forbidden, And then he drops the ancient weapons, the thing we were hinted at in Alabasta. It's coming back.
Pluton.
Nico's the only person who can reactivate the ancient weapons. So like this thing that was mentioned in Alabasta is brought back to the forefront, where it's like, oh, this is what this is all about. The government trying to get their hands on these ancient weapons. And they have a really cool conversation before, everybody else shows up, because the Minotaur and the Skull guy, they're talking to Paulie, and Paulie like drops like, yo, these blueprints are fake. And it's just like, what's happening in this arc? Like, just like,
what's going on?
It's like there's fake outs left and right. The ancient weapons are back. Like, who are these people? They just like wreck Paulie. That's when Luffy shows up, and like Luffy's like immediately tied down.
Yes.
They can't do nothing. And then that's when like Luffy's talking to Paulie, but they're still tied down for a bit. And that's when these 4 masked members confront Iceberg. And they're just like, yo, like, give it to us. Oh, and it's so good. In this scene where it's like, they're confronting Iceberg, and that stupid little pigeon shows up onto the screen, and it's kind of like they're all coming out their clothes, and then the pigeon with the little bow tie lands on the Minotaur's shoulder, even though we just saw Rob Lucci like dead outside. And then they all come out their mask, and it's revealed that it's Lucci, Kaku, Khalifa, and
Bluno.
Bluno. They're CP9.
Well, they're like, we are agents of Cypher Pole 9.
But we forgot one of the most important parts. We find out that the blueprints that they're after are fake.
We just said that.
Yeah, we said that.
Oh, I was gone.
yeah, that was said.
You were here.
It's a money shot.
It's a money shot, man.
It is.
I mean, when
they
these
look
people
scary.
Are revealed to the bad guys,
and it's so crazy how they went from like for being comfortably familiar at this point, where like you see them down, you're like, damn, Lucci and Kaku. Then you're like, damn.
Well,
they got like a whole new like aura, like in that one little moment. You're like, wait, now they like seem way more intense.
Paulie said it best too. So they all come back in now. So Zoro, Nami, Chopper in the room. Luffy and Paulie they're all in the room together.
They all crash in at the same time.
Yeah, they all crash in. I think Robin's already gone at this point.
Robin's gone. Yeah.
Yeah, Robin and Bluno, I think, are gone. And Paulie said it best. He said, all these years, because they've known them for 4 years.
4 years.
4 years they've known them. And Paulie says, all this time, I've never heard your voice, So
wait, do we want to, because I think this should be addressed. Was it the pigeon talking? Or was Lucci a ventriloquist?
Lucci is a ventriloquist.
He is, but let's think that the pigeon
was moving like its hands and everything.
It's so much better if like one of the biggest badasses in all of One Piece is also a ventriloquist for no reason. It's so good.
Absolutely not.
No reason.
It adds nothing to your mission. It does not add anything to your cover.
It wasn't like twin attack with my twin bird. Ventriloquist.
Okay, but wait, no. Now we're getting. Again, I'm gonna reference this. The Togoro brothers in what do you call it? Whatever that anime is called. Yu Yu Hakusho. The younger one, he likes orange juice. That's not relevant to the plot. But it's a great character moment.
But it doesn't take away it's just the fact that this man is not speaking. He's not saying like my favorite meal is chicken and rice. He's not speaking, and he's letting the pigeon talk.
I love Robert Lucci as a character.
Robert?
Because
no, it's not Rob Lucci.
Oh, I thought you said Robert.
No, you said Rob Lucci.
This full name, Robert. I love how he's introduced as this like ventriloquist that doesn't talk. And then to Kame Chris's point, like now showing that picture of him, he's so intense. And it's so like, and it's not like in this like I'm gigantic, like, in a Kaido kind of way. It's just like this kind of casual, like
he has an aura.
Yeah, he really does.
It is literally what Oda does. Again,
yeah, I was going to say that.
We met Aokiji, who cripples like the whole crew, and then he rides off on a bike. You have Rob Lucci, who comes off as just this stupid silent pigeon guy, and then he's revealed to be the leader of these masterclass assassins. They're masters of the 6 powers, and he's still rocking the pigeon. Like you thought the pigeon, people thought the pigeon would have been part of the act. No, the pigeon is him.
I thought the pigeon would be part of the power at that point.
This man is so intense.
It's
like honestly,
right.
The way he's drawn, I like it. The
but
shadow.
They try to make him like, unassuming by saying, "Hey, he loves ventriloquy."
But I mean, it was great because everyone had like a very softness to them. Like he gave me like a grungy hipster ventriloquist in the beginning. and Kaku was just kind of like just very like casual, everyday neighborhood
Kaku's
guy.
a nice guy. He's a nice guy.
You know,
No,
like they were
he's-
just like
no.
regular people, and all of a sudden it's like we can now exterminate them. What in the fuck just happened?
Well, actually,
Like,
it's funny that you
like-
say that because they all, it's, Paulie is like in tears. Paulie is over here like, y'all were my friends. I thought we were friends. And they actually recognize Paulie as a friend. They say, sorry, Paulie. We might have been friends, but justice first. They
Somebody
basically said-
asked them. Somebody asked them, like, "Hey, did you lie about your evaluation?" And they were like, "No, like we took our job so seriously." Which is,
but that was rubbing salt in the wound at that point, right?
Really?
That was, to me, I realized that was just like, yeah, we took our job so seriously, so no matter what, you're still
Oh, you're
without a
still
ship.
bound by our
Well,
decision
it
of
was-
like
it-
it's a poor ship now.
it you know, it's the whole, you know, they're undercover. They played the part. They really played the part. They
Yeah,
had to play that part in that moment.
They didn't half
You know?
ass any of their evaluations.
And the thing is too, they didn't have beef with the Straw Hats. You know, they had no
Right.
business to lie to them, you know.
they could
So-
care less about the Straw Hats. They're just
Exactly.
like,
Yeah, they were not on their radar at all.
no, it's just like, hey, like, as we'll find out, Nico has a relationship with them, so they have to do stuff for the Straw Hats, but they really don't care about them.
Yeah,
you know?
I was gonna say they're like, I mean, indirectly, yeah, but I mean, who they're really going for is Nico Robin, which is insane. Like how long this chase for Nico Robin goes, but
Well,
yeah,
but now but see, that's the thing is that what we realized is that they were never here for Nico Robin. Nico Robin
No.
was an add-on. She was a plus. You know, they were here for these plans that Iceberg had, and they were like,
it was
they
just like
said
the perfect thing at the perfect time.
it was right because they said we can use Nico Robin to our liking, because basically what they said now with Robin, they're going to frame the Straw Hats for all their misdoings, and basically be able to, you know, stay undercover.
Yeah,
It's
I don't
actually
know
kind of
how-
genius.
It is kind of genius, but I really don't know how they would have done any of this or while keeping their promise, because their promise, they're really working on like semantics. They're like, we promise we won't hurt them. They'll get off Water 7 alive. That's the exact wording. It's what we find out. But they're fine with being like, we're gonna completely frame them, ruin their life, make sure that they have no will to live, and take one of their crew members and not explain anything. And then they're like, but they got off Water 7 alive.
They get to live.
I think the logic is like they're pirates, so they're gonna get blamed for misdeeds either way. So they'll probably just be chased off of Water 7, but they'll survive. They'll manage it somehow. I think that's what they were banking on. Because any other no-name crew would have just been obliterated by the Galila company. I feel like Luffy could have taken care of a good majority of them alone.
Yeah, if he was going all out, yeah, for sure.
Right.
Except for
but-
Lucci. And
But in that reveal with you know, Kaku, Lucci, and everyone else, you get, you know, kind of like a little mini battle, right? With
a little bit.
A little bit of one. Because do they do the devil fruit reveal
Yes.
with Lucci. Does Luffy fight him a little bit first before the devil reveal?
So what happens is, yeah, they do a little skirmish. They're outmatched, and then Lucci's pretty much, he says, if you think you're outmatched now, just look at this.
Get a load of this.
Yeah, like literally, he says, you have no idea who you're dealing with. You know, now
He really doesn't.
No, it's true. They have not. I mean, they haven't been up against this, and again, here's the whole Oda gives ways for people to match devil fruits. They are masters of the 6 powers, so they start showing off the 6 powers. They start showing off Shave. They show off Iron Body,
Moonwalk.
Yeah, they show off the Moonwalk. They're showing them off, and Finger Pistol. They're doing the Finger Pistol. And
That's
so
bad.
yeah, and Lucci basically says, well, imagine if a devil fruit user could be the master of these, and then he transforms. And at this point, you're like, oh, Jesus.
Do we
Like,
see?
Look
we
at the
see
size
his
difference too.
He's
transformation?
huge.
Yeah, did you see how big he was?
He's
so-
huge.
He is a monster next to them. So he ate what the cat fruit leopard model.
Leopard model.
That's
Yeah.
that's his devil fruit, and he's adding a little bit more of the, adding more of the mythos to the devil fruit abilities, because I think this is the first time where we hear, he basically says, there's Logia, Paramecia, and zones, but he adds a little bit of an extra detail to zone types where he's like, the benefit of a zone type user is that if it's an animal, which it is, it adds to the ferocity of what that animal
Chopper
is.
says, not good. Carnivorous zone types grow more ferocious too. So
Exactly.
Yeah.
That was
So-
Oda just being like, oh, this man, Rob Lucci, does not play. He will eat you. He will bite your neck and like drink your blood while you're like dying.
Listen, he finger pistols Luffy with one finger through his body. I'm like, dude, this guy's dead. Like, he pierces him. His finger comes out the end of his back.
Yes, it does. It does.
Like, no, apparently it missed all the vital organs from an expert assassin.
The expert assassin. Yep.
And again, but like, it's interesting because
Oh
it
wait,
pierces.
but it did, because remember, they have to get off the Water 7 alive. So
They
that
have
was
to
very
get-
purposeful.
That was okay. Right. That is very true. I just like the fact how they were using finger pistol originally on Luffy, and they purposely zoomed in on their finger, like hitting his neck, to show like it doesn't really, like, it hurts him, but it doesn't
pierce him.
It does not pierce him. Then you have Rob Lucci with the talons coming in with the cat fruit, and he just goes right through him. And Luffy's gone. He sends Luffy flying.
He sends Luffy flying. Then he proceeds to send Zoro flying.
Right. He sends Zoro plops into the ocean, and then Luffy gets lodged in between two buildings again.
And then at that point, they're like, there's a bomb that's gonna explode, and they're like, well, the rest of y'all, Chopper and Nami, y'all weak. Y'all don't deserve our time.
Yeah, they're like, wow, so we set this whole thing up so we could have Iceberg give the plans to whoever the next apprentice was. Polly seemed like an obvious choice, but they were fake plans. And they deduced that, like, okay,
this is a really good reveal.
Yes, they're like, so Lucci's like, all right, if there's no way Iceberg would just like let these plans like go. We've been here 6 years. We've never seen him, like, there's been nobody else he could have given this to. If anybody, I bet Lucci and Kaku were like, could have been us. Khalifa might have been like, could have been me. I'm like, the assistant. But it's like, all right, if it's none of us, then he must have given it to somebody else prior. And they remember like this person named Cuddy Flom.
All right, so so I think what it is,
Take it from here.
they know, so they know the story of the blueprints. The blueprints get passed down from the top shipwright in Water 7 from master to apprentice. And they say the last time, and again, this is in the records, is that the last time the world government was close to apprehending those was when Tom was alive. And so they deduced that, Tom had 2 apprentices, right?
Right.
There was Iceberg, and then there was Cuddy Flam. But in that incident with Tom, Cuddy Flam was said to be hit by the sea train and died. So they're 5 years undercover. In year 2, so 4 years ago at this time, 4 years ago, so they went a year without any information. On year 2, they hear Khalifa says, someone's here to see you, Iceberg. A man who goes by the name of Cuddy Flam. And they're all like, Cuddy Flam. I thought he died, So they're not privy to what happens in this meeting. They just know that day he met with Cuddy Flam. And then oh man, someone might have to take it from here. So they
Well,
got that information.
Right.
They know Cuddy Flam's in town.
They deduced that Cuddy Flam never left.
Right. They say no matter how much they investigated a certain someone, they weren't able to uncover their background. But like after all of this, you know, after seeing all this, they were able to kind of pretty much know who Cuddy Flam is, but also as they were telling this, they were able to see that Iceberg's like pulse was racing. And so
they have
Haku's checking his
pulse.
Yep.
The lie detector test.
That Cuddy Flam was actually Franky this whole time.
None other than Franky.
At this point, Kame Chris, was it confirmation? Is he
even more?
Even more BS. Oh my goodness.
Even more.
I'll tell you when it really sunk in that like, oh, Franky's gonna join the crew. It's very close. But yeah. Just so good. Just incredible. The amount they put into this volume alone is wild. They packed so much.
There's a lot to digest.
Yeah, the reveal, I mean, Luffy versus Franky, the assassination mystery, and then the reveal that like, boom, that Cuddy Flam, like the other apprentice, the one who actually has the blueprints to the ancient weapon, is the guy that's been roughing up the crew the whole time.
Who the whole town despises.
Yeah, who's not even a carpenter. He's a dismantler. You know,
You thought he was the troll side character that was just gonna be messing with them throughout the arc. Turns out he was significant. He's extremely important.
Nobody's important until they're not.
Exactly. Again, Oda doing the whole unassuming character trope, like we've been basically saying up until now. You have Aqua Laguna on the rise.
Still coming. Aqua Laguna.
It's still coming. And you know, CP9 at that point dips. They know that they have to find Cuddy Flam, and they go off to go hunt him down. Meanwhile, they leave Nami, Chopper, and Paulie and Iceberg to just burn in the flames. They're like, all right, go die now. And then from there, from there we get some insight with Usopp and Franky, right? Because this at that point,
this is when I realized, like, oh, clearly Franky's like going to be a part of the crew. Because up until this moment, Franky had never been like, I don't know, you never had any sympathy for his character. He was just like always just like either like weird or the bad guy. And then when Usopp's telling Franky about like what happened to him and like how he lost his crew, now he's about to lose his ship, Franky's crying. Franky's such a big baby, and like that little part right there, I was like, oh, I actually feel for this character. Oh, I think he's gonna join the crew. That's when it like sunk into me.
Oh, there.
It did not sink in for me. I thought this was gonna look. Listen, when I was first going through this, I was like, Usopp has left the crew. Robin has left the crew. Not officially, because the only person to leave was Usopp, because you need to get the captain's permission to leave the crew. But I was like, this crew, I don't even know if there is gonna be a crew. What if you know they just get new people, and you know after this arc, I was like, oh, this is not gonna be, you know, I don't know what's gonna happen. But I think I realized it much later. Like I think in Annie's lobby, that's when I start realizing that Franky might join.
And Oda was I feel like here's where he really was pulling us with I feel like it always felt a little unstable if someone was gonna die or leave the crew. And I think this point you just was like, after this big fucking moment between Luffy and Usopp, you think there's no return. You said there's no coming back. He's done, he's gone. And then when Robin left, I said, okay, well, I mean, she just got here, so she looks like a stowaway anyway. So it really felt like, okay, well, you know, maybe we won't get any actual more crew members. Like, I don't know what the fuck just happened. But then I'll say, I guess the CP9, their reveal made it kind of obvious that, okay, well, obviously this is going to, really the Franky part of it was like, okay, this is all going to come together and we're all going to be cool again and everything's going to make sense. So then when Franky explained to Usopp, like the actual ship, when Usopp explained like the actual ship, like, I don't know, when Franky explained the ship to Usopp, I was like, okay, so much could have been avoided if Luffy would have just done this exact same thing that he was literally told already.
It's not as simple as you make it sound, because Usopp was still fighting everybody who had something to say about the Mary. Franky had to literally pick up Usopp and throw him to the bottom of that little shipyard.
Boom!
Yes,
Into the water.
for Usopp to literally see under the Mary.
And even then, he still said no. Like,
but Usopp admits that, like, if he admitted that the Mary can't be salvaged, then he has to admit that he's also weak. He's scared for himself, And I think that's just I think that's one of the beautiful parts, that the Mary is not only a crew member but also representative of like the past notions that they just went on the Grand Line off a whim, and they didn't really think anything through.
It was just going to be a journey, a fun little, get together.
Yeah, no, this is the real world. This arc really was. This is the real world. You decided to get in here, so
it's a big perspective saga. Everyone gets as Anton Ego likes to say, he likes to be served some perspective. Everybody was served perspective here. But I want to dial it back to the fire in the mansion. So, the Zoro and Luffy get tossed. Chopper rescues everybody from the fire, and that's when the Galley Law realizes the Straw Hats couldn't have done this. Why would they save Iceberg and Paulie and whatnot? And then Iceberg comes to, and he says he wants to have a conversation with Nami. And in that conversation, we get what really transpired with Robin and Iceberg.
Does this happen now?
Yes.
So there's an after Franky's story.
We're gonna say Franky's story for. But yeah, it's Franky's story is pretty deep.
When you get to Franky's story, then it's like after Franky's story, it's like moving forward, moving quick. This is kind of these are happening simultaneously.
Yeah,
so
sure.
You get what is Robin? So she basically says what they coerced her into doing all this, and what does she get in exchange? Why is she doing all this?
The crew's safe, the crew gets to live, the crew gets to continue on, and Robin doesn't have to lose them, which seems really important, that the crew stays whole even if it's without her.
She cares about them.
Yes.
She does.
So much so she's willing to put her life on the line for them.
But this is, again, these preconceived notions that the crew has been traveling with. This is the arc that destroys everything. And they have to build something new amongst the rubble. Just like Water 7 has to build on top of itself continuously for it to survive.
Ooh.
Right, because Nico Robin always relatively thought that the crew would be safe.
But she also, like, if you compare like now Nico Robin and then, Nico Robin would be like, if she had the same mentality, she'd be like, oh, someone's trying to threaten me, I'm going to go to my crew and let's all handle it together and face it together.
Right. No, I agree. This was a multi-layered arc. You could say it was like an onion.
Sure.
It was it was
or
fantastic.
There's levels to it, like Water 7.
There is. I mean, it's in HooperTV's background. Like, there's so many levels to Water 7 by itself. Like, I feel like that's the embodiment of the arc, especially at the top. Look at the sunshine. At the end of all this, there is a happy ending. At the end of all the chaos that's brewing right now.
But not right now. Right
Not
now,
right now.
everybody's in shambles. It's Zoro's off somewhere. Zoro was thrown away.
Zoro
Luffy
was thrown away.
Robin's decided, clearly, I'm out. I'm leaving the crew. Usopp's not part of the crew. And, CP9's coming for Franky. And things aren't looking good. Things are not looking
They
good.
are not strong enough to beat CP9.
Well,
Like none of them are strong enough to beat CP9.
No.
Do we want to Infinity War this and conclude it there on a sad note?
Well, no, we can conclude on this final note is that Iceberg reveals it to Nami.
It's so tough. I know what you're trying to do, Grandmaster.
No, it's fine. This is where
what you're trying to do.
This is where it ends.
But it doesn't end there.
No, I know it doesn't end, but the spirits, it's about
the credits roll though. That's what you're saying.
No, it's about the spirits.
Thriller Bark
It's
is
a
next.
cliffhanger. It's still a cliffhanger. But
I feel like from what I know what you're saying. Yeah, why don't we just end it on the cliffhanger?
no, this is the cliffhanger.
Thriller Bark.
He tells her what their conversation was, which is what we just talked about.
I know.
And then it is simply, here's your cliffhanger. Despite all the bad shit that has happened, they have a spark of hope in life in the Straw Hat crew as they realize Robin is doing this for them, and that now that they know, they're going to do everything in their power to go save her.
Ooh.
That's a little ahead, chronologically speaking.
No, it's not. what are you doing?
They're literally outside the Galila company burning, and they make this reveal.
You don't. And you just ruined it.
No, I know. No, this is good. This is good. I'm with you.
This is good.
I'm with you.
This was a lot. I mean,
yeah, clearly we had a lot to talk about, and I think that's why we're trying to find like a nice bow to put on this section.
That is a nice bow right there. Leave it on.
It's a nice bow. The section there's still a lot of meat on the bone.
We're gonna leave it there. Leave it there.
You're not gonna finish it?
What do you mean? That's what we finish it. What do you mean?
I know.
We're gonna be back.
Why'd you get so mad?
I'm not mad.
Stop. Listen.
Everything else.
There's
everything
a lot
else
that happened.
We're
I understand.
Here.
And there's part 2. People have to tune into
of this arc.
Yes. We're not like skipping to Enos Lobby.
Next week we're gonna start with Rob Lucci versus.
Just simply.
There is quite a bit left to digest in this portion, but that's why we're splitting it up. We don't want to rush everything. We want to make sure we give each segment of this massive saga enough time in the sun, because this alone was goodness over 2 hours. Any final thoughts on like what we covered so far, or like how the arc picks up next, and I guess the part 2 that we're gonna get into next time?
I think this first part that we've talked about is just a lot of buildup, and the buildup here was phenomenal. So the next bit of what we're going to talk about next week is probably kind of the foundations as why we're here, with the backstories we'll be going over, and just next week is going to be more of like a transition. One part transition, and
there's the middle part. There's
a middle part, right?
I mean, literally the middle, like, because it's technically 2 islands, you know. We're covering the middle part,
right? Correct.
They're technically not even islands; they're just structures in water.
It's a piece of land.
Island,
Sure. If you call a big cinder block an island,
that's not the only layout.
It's not. There's a floor there.
There's literally like an island, and then a bridge, and then that structure that you're talking about.
But we're jumping ahead. I feel like the foundation where we build up from Water 7, it's some of the best in One Piece. I would say it's probably the best in One Piece, because I mean the fights in Enies Lobby are really epic on scale, but the buildup I think is I think it's better than the payoff in a way, because it was just that damn good.
Yes.
It was that good.
Yes.
And you don't get that a lot. Usually the build-ups to the grand finale, sometimes you have to trudge through it, and then you have your hype moments at the end where you're like, oh my god, a new power, oh my god, a big reveal. But in this case, Oda pulled out all the stops. He did a very phenomenal job with Water 7, and that's why we're still here, about to, deep dive next time for a part 2 and ultimately a part 3. So catch us next time as we tackle everything from Rocket Man all the way to I guess that's up for discussion still, where we want to end off.
How about Gear Second?
We could
There's so much that happens after that. You know what?
We know it's digestible.
We will, draw our foot in the sand once we get to it. Once we get to part 2. But we hope if you made it this far, you enjoyed the ride along with us. If you liked what we had to say, leave a like, leave a share. Let us know your thoughts wherever you're listening to us on, whether it be Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, at the Yonkō Table. And if you want to see our lovely faces along with our deep dive, check out at DrJaceAttorney on YouTube. But with that, everyone, and don't forget to join the discourse. Join our Discord. We're talking about this all the time. You have Kame Chris throwing in Luffy's intelligence as a topic all day, every day, and it's great. Check out our Discord. More information on that in the link in the description box down below. But with that, everyone, I'm your Yonkō host, DrJaceAttorney, fellow Yonkō GrandMasterHoop, Supernovas Kame Chris, Nino, and Admiral HooperTV, signing off. Take care.